Vivian, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Perfect. I can hear you.
All right.
So you finally have light around your side.
Yes, we have like that.
Okay, so you can shoot, right? So let's confirm if the
Yes,
students are.
but I want to confirm if it's live on YouTube. I'm on YouTube and it's not live yet.
Should be live.
And
Let me let me see. Let me see. Yeah, it's live. I can see on YouTube now.
okay.
I'm watching from YouTube now, and
But for the student, I want to confirm if they can.
we need to confirm that if they can watch now.
Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome to today's section of a STEM Club Virtual Studio. You're welcome. If you're joining us from anywhere, just go to your comment button or locate the comment button and drop your name, the state you're joining from. The class will start any minute from now. Please go ahead to drop your comment. Even we have one person watching from YouTube. Hopefully, maybe we'll be able to increase this number.
Okay, my laptop just even went off by itself.
Went off? You have battery problem?
No, it just went off on its own. So I had to
Oh,
reboot and see if I can, because I don't think I can
sorry
share
about
my screen using my phone.
that. Let me see if it is possible with my phone to share screen. I'm not even seeing share screen here.
I don't think one
Okay,
can share screen.
using phone. We should.
Hello?
So we have two students joining live now. I think StreamYard has improved this platform. It's making sense now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
You see that function? Okay, fine. Vivian, are you ready to start so that we have two students on the YouTube? Vivian?
Yes,
Can
I'm
you
ready
start?
to start. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah, you are not on the stream
Oh,
before. I just added you.
all right, sir.
Mm. You can go ahead. I'll help you to manage your banner while you continue. So that's fine.
Okay, all right,
Don't
sir.
worry. Even if you're not fortunate to have enough students today, please do the class properly, because it's a pre-recorded video now, so they can see watch later, and they can still gain insight. So just do it as a proper class. Exactly.
All right, sir.
Okay, so I
Okay.
welcome everyone to today's class, and I want to especially appreciate everyone that is part of this joining. And today we are having a concept around entrepreneurship and design thinking. And from our mentor list, we have a mentor that will be taking us through this journey today. And fortunately for us, we have a female mentor who will be taking us on this very important topic for our students across Nigeria. Students who are joining from different parts of the country, those that are joining from Lagos, students who are joining from Ibadan, those that are joining from Ondo State, that are joining from Port Harcourt. You are welcome to today's STEM virtual studio class. And I hope you enjoy today's class, because we're going to, take you from where we stopped last week to a new topic now, and so that you can become better version of yourself and outperform your environment and become the kind of a change maker that we're raising you to be. So once again, I welcome you to today's class, and the person to take us on this journey today is no other person than Ms. Vivian, who is the lead mentor and the volunteers under the Entrepreneurs Educational Foundation, and who is the co-founders of the STEM Club. She'll be taking us on this journey, and I welcome Ms. Vivian to the platform. You're welcome, Ms. Vivian, for today's class.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the honor. I'm excited to be here to take today's session, and it's going to be a very interactive section, because design thinking, which is the topic I'm taking today, it's a very action-based topic. It's not something theoretical. It's something that when you learn, you have to practicalize it. It is an hands-on topic. So it's very exciting that we'll be doing this together. And from this session, hopefully innovative ideas will spring forth, and hopefully you'll be able to use whatever you learn during the session to also go to your various communities to implement new ideas and solve innovative problems. My name is Vivian, and I'm excited to be here. I see we have Olabi on the call. You're welcome. And please just introduce yourself as you join the call. Just introduce yourself so that I can know you by name, because we're going to be doing some interactive activities. So I need to pair you together with someone else. And your school, so we can. All right. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Today we'll be talking about design thinking. And as we all know, or as you will be able to understand during this session, that design thinking has become not only among top organizations across the world, also even down to the local community. For you to create an innovative idea or to implement an innovative idea, it is imperative that you follow through the design thinking process. Okay, so can you see my screen? Please just let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Is it visible? Okay, so any response in the chat box? Just let me know if my screen is visible, because it's important that we follow through the process. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me? Properly. Any response? All right, thank you very much. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the design thinking process, and it is a 5 innovation process. I will ensure that we'll possibly cover the 5 steps, but if time does not permit us, we'll cover probably 3 of it, and or then we can probably have a second round of this session to complete the rest. All right, but before now, I actually have a video I would like us to watch, but I have to know that we're actually like following and everything is perfect, because I don't want to play the video and at the end of the day we won't catch the information or what I need us to understand. All right, so probably I'll play the video during the course of the meeting when I get more responses from the student. Okay, so we have 6 steps to the innovation process. So design thinking is basically a process that you take from start to finish, from creating an idea to implementation. So it's not just about creating solutions. You want to ensure that the solutions you are creating to any problems you've identified is actually a reasonable solution. Number one is actually a solution that is needed, not just a solution that you come up with in your head and you feel is going to solve the problem. Do you actually know that this solution is going to solve this particular problem? Do you actually know that the people you are creating the solution for, they will actually benefit from the solution? So it is important that for every process, for every innovation process, for every product that we want to put out there into the market, want to put out there as a solution, it is important that every of our actions go through this process. Every of our step is actually guided by this design thinking process. For example, if you are interested, you are passionate about solving the healthcare, a particular healthcare problem, probably the vaccination problem in Africa, because it has been by research, we have actually a low vaccination coverage in Africa. If, for example, as a student, yeah, you are very passionate about solving this problem, you can't just sit in your room and propose a solution and design and build it and everything and come to the market. What if your solution is not acceptable? What if your solution does not meet the need of the target audience you want it to meet? What if your solution does not cover the pain points of your target audience? So it is important. Okay, I'm just all right. Can you see my screen now? Okay, so I think is clear enough. All right. So as I was saying, if you have the how will I call it, if you have the interest in proposing a solution to vaccination problem in Africa, you can't just stay in your room or stay somewhere and develop the solution and bring it to the market. What if it doesn't meet the pain point of the users? What if it is not acceptable in the market? What if it does not actually solve the main problem of that of what you're trying to do? So it is important that we go through the steps of design thinking so that we can encapsulate, we can create a solution that is encompassing, that actually solve the pain point of our user. It's not just something you think, you just assume. You don't assume solutions when it comes to developing innovative ideas. You don't just assume that this particular solution is going to solve this problem. It's important you go through this design thinking process, and it's a process that will help you that will spark innovation in you. It will create a user-centric mindset in you. And that is the main purpose of design thinking, to ensure that the user is at the center of your solution, that the user, everything you are doing revolves around the user. The user is your main focus. Whatever you are doing, you have to do it to ensure that it meets the user's need. And that is the purpose of design thinking. Design thinking has been used over the years, but has been used in big companies, big organizations, and the likes. All right, so we're going to start with the first process. So the first process of design thinking is empathize. Is empathize. I would just like you to just write in the chat box, what do you think empathize means? Like when you hear empathize, what does it mean to you, or what do you think it means? Because I want to speak with you, and I want you to communicate back to me. It's a two-way thing. So let me know in the chat box what you think empathize means. Anyone? Okay. All right. So okay, moving forward, I look forward to your answer. All right. Okay, empathize means that you have to put yourself in the shoes of your user. You have to think like your user. You have to understand their pain points. So empathize basically means the capacity to place yourself in another person that you can understand their lives, and you'll be able to better you'll be able to how will I call it, consider issues from their point of view. That's the essence of empathize, and this is very, very first process of design thinking. It is very important because if you do not put yourself in the position of your user, or if you do not consider issues from their pain points, you'll be solving problems that are not even related to them. You'll be solving problems that are far off from their own realities. So you have to put yourself in the position of your user. So for example, you want to solve a solution that's how I call it, that will help mothers to complete the vaccination of their children. You have to put yourself in the solution of a mother. What do they go through every day? What does their day-to-day activity looks like? What problems do they encounter every day that will lead them not to complete the vaccination of their children? So you have to put yourself in that position. You have to think like them. You have to reason like them. You have to enter their reality. Sometimes it can lead you to going to meet them one on one, to ask them questions, to interact with them, to conduct a survey or an interview with them. Sit down with them, meet them where they are, and ask them questions. It is very important. So it's not about every end of the day you see a big product and all. Before you get to that point, there are steps you have to take. So it's not just about the product. It's not about how beautiful, how fancy the product is. It's about understanding their reality. So you have to empathize to the beginning. So you have to empathize with your users to ensure that any idea that you develop, you are developing it to meet the pain point of your users. To meet, it's very important because this is the foundation. Because if you go ahead to create a solution that doesn't meet the pain point of your user, everything will crumble down. At the end of the day, your effort and everything will just be it will be in vain. You would have spent a lot of money. You would have spent a lot of time, but it's not actually solving your user problem. So you have to empathize understand that you have to empathize with your users. I would have loved us to actually um take a pen and a paper somewhere, and write, just write, how will I call it, a if you have a problem you are interested in solving, I'll just like you now to just write empathy. That's the first point, and underneath it, write the pain point of these users. Write like a story, their day-to-day activity, what it looks like. So it's important for you to do this exercise because design thinking is a practical thing. It would have been lovely we have like a on-site thing because we'll be able to interact better and all. But even aside from that, we can still do that online. So you just take a piece of paper right now and jot down how will I call it, a day-to-day, a kind of story, or how will I call it, put yourself in the shoes of your user and write something about how their day-to-day activity looks like and the kind of problem they face. So just you can just write it down somewhere. It's like that would be like a road map. So you have to disregard preconceived ideas. You have to disregard preconceived ideas. Don't assume that your solution will solve this problem. Do not assume. It is very important. That's why some solutions are useless. They don't just meet anybody's need, but they are just out there, noise and the likes. They're just making noise and the likes. You don't want to be someone like that. You don't want to develop your company around that kind of thing. So you have to disregard preconceived ideas. Immerse yourself into your user's reality. So just ensure that you can go to your user and have a one-on-one interview with them. Ask them questions. What is their problem? What do they think they will be able to even actually help you understand the kind of solution you would eventually. By the time they start telling you things they would have preferred, probably there's even an existing solution, but probably there are some things they would have insight to how you can even have a competitive advantage over your competitor. So it's important that this process is the foundation on which you build other processes. All right. So I think you should have the activities and looks user think go through or think they would need or something. It should have been better. Then later on, you can go and do an physical interview with them, so you can corroborate what you've actually assumed as well. Okay, the next stage is so after you have empathized stronger, by the time you start thinking like a user, that wow, they're really going through a lot. Sometimes I would like to, it will even deepen your passion to even solve the problem. So the next stage you are going to go to now is framing. Framing. And problem framing requires three things: a specific user, a specific need, and a specific insight. So when you are framing your problem, you have to identify these three things. It helps you to organize how you think about your solution. It helps you to organize how you think about your solution. It helps you to get to the root of the issue you are trying to solve and help you narrow the focus of your solution. So what I'm trying to say is problem framing. Problem framing is not about writing 300 words. It's not about, it's just about three major things: a specific user, a specific need, and insight. So it's these three things you put together to form a statement, a problem. You frame that problem, with these three things. So let me continue with the example of my vaccination problem because it's something on, and I followed this process. That's why I'm able to, explain it. So the first thing we did was that empathy. So during that empathy, we created an online questionnaire that we distributed to our target users. We distributed to the public at large. So that will help us to understand what the problem is out there and what they think would solve their problem. So that was the first thing we did. So that was the empathy. So from that empathy, we're able to do problem framing. So for the problem framing, what you need is a persona. You need to create an imaginative user. And it's not just like imaginative, like probably how will I call it, all this fantasy film or all this fancy cartoon or something. Is like it's a real user, but it might be someone it's just you're just creating a persona, you're creating a profile for your user. So what you will do is once you've done that empathy process, you've interacted with your user, you can now frame whatever it is you've discovered into a statement. For example, you say Mrs. For us, what we did was after we discovered that a lot of people that will need our solutions are actually mothers and caregivers, and they will actually be within the age of probably 26 26 to the active ones 26 to like about 60 years old. So that was like our target user. So we're able to frame the problem using that persona. What we did was we created a persona. So this is what a persona means. You are giving your user a name, you are giving your user an age range, you are giving your user a geographic location, you're giving your user an occupation, a pain point, what their what their pain point is, which is the need, as we can see on the screen, the need. Then also insight to what they are going through. So an example is Mrs. Let's say Mrs. Adewumi is a 30-year-old mother who is a trader. So you are kind of creating a story around your user. So you have to be specific. So once you've identified that specific user, for us, our specific user were mothers, caregivers, and their need was that they need to be reminded about completing the vaccination of their children. From research, we found out that most mothers forget, especially the ones that are very preoccupied, and even the ones in the rural areas who don't have like constant access to healthcare facilities, so they don't complete the vaccination process of their children. That is the need. They need to be constantly reminded, and they need instant access to vaccination centers and vaccination itself. So that's framing. So that will help us to helped us to narrow the focus of our solution. So we're not going here and there trying to solve the problem of the whole world. You are specific about what you want to do. So that is what framing helps you to do. All right. So after that, after you identified your specific user, your specific need, and the insight, you move next to ideation. But most people start from ideation. That is the problem. Most people start from ideation. You see a lot of people, I'm a problem solver, I want to solve so idea, I have this solution. Everything is always solution first. Solution might not always be the first thing to do. Ideation is naturally probably the first thing to do. As I've said before, empathizing is the foundation. So ideation, so this is now where you develop the idea. But most people develop the idea before they even know who they are developing it for. So you can see how we are confused. So, but moving forward, for you to make the best use of the design thinking process, start with empathy. So it makes it easier for you when you get to this stage. But most people get start from this stage. They just go up there and I have an idea, I have an idea, I have an idea. For who? For what? How do you want to do it and all those things? By the time you ask them those questions, they don't really have answers to it. All right, so ideation is that creative process where you now generate, develop, and communicate the idea. And you have to use data. For you to utilize this process, you have to make use of data, and you have to make use of what you've understood from the two previous phases. That will help you to actually come up with a lot of ideas. So it's at this stage that you now cut down and streamline to the best, most practical solution. So before, you've been talking to your target user, to the women or to the community, you've been having interviews, different ideas have been coming into your mind about how you can, solve that problem. You've been jotting them down and everything. You've gotten to the framing stage where, okay, you now identify your user, your specific user and specific need. But you still have like about 6 ideas you think will be best for that problem. So this is the stage where you cut those ideas down into the best, most practical solution. And for you to do this properly, you need to use data. You need to use what you have gathered from the interviews you've done before. So you can see why it's important to have done empathy and all those and the two phases before. Because now you have data to work with. Now you have gathered a lot of insights from your target user. These are the same people you are going to sell your products to. So why not talk to them beforehand? It's not after you've now sold them the products, you now start talking to them. A lot of problems will come up. So it's better if you go through those two phases prior before it gets to ideation at all. So every data you've gathered, the questionnaire you've distributed, the online survey you've done, the one-on-one interviews you've conducted, speaking with the how would I call it, your target population, speaking with them one-on-one, probably through video recording or audio recording, all those data this is where you now gather them and come up with the best practical solutions to everything you've gathered so far. So for us, after we did the questionnaire aspect, we did the questionnaire online, we distributed it. We asked questions about, okay, why do they forget to vaccinate? When last did they vaccinate their children? Have they vaccinated? Like, have they completed the vaccination process and all? So we asked those questions. Then we now asked them that what do they think would help them to even remember or complete the vaccination process. So they even gave us ideas. So all of those ideas, we wrote them down. We noted them down somewhere. We did some audio interviews and video interviews. We noted all those things we gathered. We did not even really have a solution by that time. We don't know what we're going to propose. So that is it. So all those things, all those the two phases helped us to gather insight and data. So we now during this process, what you do during this process is now to bring those data together and pick out the best, most practical solution out of it. So we wrote all the ideas down. Okay, we can come from this angle. We can develop a digital application that will notify the women about their next vaccination appointment. We can use USSD code so that they can speak with doctors or nurses or something. So we're writing different ideas that that we came up with based on what we gathered. Then we now streamline that. Okay, which one is the best, like the most practical one out of all these things? So that's what happens at the idea. This is where your solution comes in place, not at the beginning. All right. So the next thing is prototype. So for prototyping is just how I call it the minimum product that contains the main functions that you want your solution to perform. So take for example now, we after we decided to create a digital app, like a digital application where mothers can do subscription, or they can log in into and get they put in the required data, their name, their occupation, their child's age, their last vaccination appointment and the likes. So we help them to understand that this is the next vaccination appointment. You understand? So we the at this stage you won't build the entire product. So what prototyping helps you to do is it helps you to create that minimum sample of your idea or concept, minimum sample of your idea, or not like the entirety of your solution. So for the application, you can just develop that feature that reminds them of the next vaccination appointment. It might be the main thing because probably that's your main selling point, or that's your main um unique value proposition. That's your main feature that you want them to use. So what prototyping helps to do to create a sample or a model of that concept, not like the full-blown concept. You can use 3D animation and computer generated models. Sometimes even what we did, because there was no money for us to develop our digital application, what we basically did was to draw. We drew it on a white sheet of paper, on a whiteboard. Let's call it a storyboard. So we drew how the application, the digital app, the mobile app is going to look like. So we drew the outlines from the login page to the sign up page to when you enter your name and your details page. We drew it like that because there was no resources. It was a challenge, innovation challenge. So we were students. There was no money to build the full blown um application. Then you can also do when you get to this stage, just try to use what you have. It's just for people to see how your solution looks like, basically, just to see and interact with it. It's not necessarily, you don't have to add the full application or the full solution on ground. And this stage helps you to test your idea. So if you say you want to develop that digital app that help uh, people to remember their vaccination appointment, you have to test it before you make it into a complete product or you implement it finally. You have to test it. Does it work? You have to know if it works. You have to know if it works in probably certain region or it doesn't work in certain region. You have to know how your user interacts with that solution. So you'll be able to, because design thinking is an iterative process. And what I mean by iterative is continuous. So after this stage, you move to the next stage, you go back to the next stage. That's how it works. It's all I call it a cycle. So it's not a linear process, it's an iterative process. So, and that helps you to keep modifying. That's why you see WhatsApp will upgrade their next version every time. Okay. Went off. So send the presentation to the page. I'm going to send the presentation to the page so that you can go through it. But when my laptop comes back up, I'll be able to project the presentation. So I've said is important because it will help you to test your idea before you take it to the market. Example, you designed how the application is going to look like, and you've understood what your main feature is or what your main value, unique value proposition is in that solution. So you create a model, you create a is called. It's not the full solution, it's a prototype. It's something that how I call it it's a before type, like before the final type. That's what prototyping means. So you take this prototype or this sample, you take it to the user, you take it to the market, let them use it, let them explore it. So from there you can now know, okay, things you need to add, things you need to remove, because your user will definitely interact with it, and they will complain that, okay, probably this is not working, or this is not actually functioning properly, or you could add this to it, you could modify this aspect, you could change the color of the app. We don't like the interface, we don't like the design, or something. So you'll be able to understand how to modify the product. That is why you cannot jump the prototyping stage, because if you do, you eventually waste resources, waste your time and energy, because you're still going to come back. You can't put a product out there and expect it to be all perfect and expect your user to say, oh wow, 100% good. You keep testing. Even after you finish the product, you keep testing, you keep improving. That's how you see WhatsApp say upgrades to the latest version. This product is say upgrades to the latest, because they keep improving, they keep improving their services and products. And so that's why I say going back to this process. All right, so I would like to know if we are still following. Are we still following? Okay, I don't really do this. I say like probably to responses if we are still following, and if we have any questions. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Okay. Do we have any questions? Okay. All right. So let me see if I can present um, my slides again. My laptop is back on. Just give me a second. I'm trying to put back the slides so we can follow. Can you see my slide now? Just let me know if you can see my slides now. Okay, so we've talked about prototyping, and I've said you don't really have to spend too much. Okay, all right. I apologize for the glitches. My laptop's actually acting somehow, but all right. So I'm back, and hopefully we'll round up very soon because we are almost at the end of the process. Okay, I hope you've actually learned something from like everything I've said before, and I hope if you have any questions, just please feel free to send it to me or to any of the coordinators. We are more than happy to answer your questions. All right. So for prototyping, as I've said, that you don't need to actually spend a lot of money when you're on the prototyping app. or like on the stage. It's just a stage where you want to test your idea, you want to model your idea, you want to show an early sample of what you've thought about. So if you've thought about creating a digital app, you're just showing a sample of that digital app. You doesn't really have to have all the integrity of everything you need. If it's how will I call it, if it's how will I call it, a mechanical thing you want to build as well, you can build the functional part of it, not necessarily the full blown idea. It is important that you test your assumption at this stage. Important that you test your solution at this stage, so you can improve on it earlier before before you go into the market, or before it is more expensive for you to improve. It's cheaper for you to improve your ideas or your concept at stage, because you're not really spending too much. You're not really putting in the idea, in the concept. You're just showing a sample of it, showing a model of it. So at this stage, it's cheaper to fail at this stage, because it's an early stage. You've not spent a lot and realize, than when you've now developed the whole idea, you've developed the solution, you developed the product, and now like is a full product out there. Then you now have to modify, or you now have to do a lot of corrections or a lot of adjustments. It is more expensive at that level. So it is important that you test your assumptions at this stage, you improve on your ideas at this stage. So the next process in design thinking, we've talked about empathy, we've talked about framing the problem, we've talked about prototyping, and the next stage now is testing. Sorry, I'm not able to project my screen right now because I'm using my phone, but I'll ensure that the slide is sent to you so you can go through it. It's actually easy to understand, and I'll also send a video along with the slide. All right, so testing is important. It will give you the opportunity to see how your idea works in practice and to gain feedback from potential users. So you've ideated about this concept, you have an idea in mind, you have a solution in mind, you've developed a sample or a model of that solution. It's now time. You are not using it yourself, it's not for yourself, so you have to put it out there to the users, you have to put it out there to the consumers, and let them use it, let them work on it, let them how will I call it, let them explore the idea. So you are able to see how your solution works in practice, and from there you gain valuable feedback from the potential users. So this feedback should provide you deeper insight and valuable experience that will inform the next process, that will inform the next design process moving forward. So you can at this stage this doesn't match for me, or match what I need. It's important for you to take this feedbacks. And if your user says, "Oh, this particular button is not working very well," or this particular I'm clicking on this link and it's not taking me anywhere, or problem somewhere. So it's easy for you to gain feedback at this stage, and it is not expensive. It won't really cost you a lot of things, then you will use this experience, you use this feedback to now modify the final product or the main product. So you do your testing, you take it to the market, take it to your potential users, let them use it anyhow, let them explore it, let them, in fact, let them use the application, let them click everything they need to click, let them, because they are the ones that will use at the end of the day, and you can't control how they will use it. You won't be there 24/7. How many millions of people do you want to track how they use your product? So at this stage, let them use it, let them explore it, and let them give you feedback. So you use that feedback to now modify the product. If you need to change some particular color, because some users will tell you that this color is too, the color of this button or your user interface is just too ugly, it's not fine, it's not attractive. So you go back to your team members, to speak with the designer, the UI UX designer, that okay, help us to adjust so color or something, so based on the feedback you've gotten. All right, so that's testing stage. So the last stage I'll be talking about today, because time is fast spent already. So the last stage I'll be talking about is implement. So can someone just write in the chat box all the processes I've talked about so far? Just just 2 or 3 processes I've talked about so far. I just put it in the chat, in the comment section. Just list the processes I've talked about so far, the processes of design thinking I've talked about so far. I think call can you help us out? Promise, can you help us out? I think you're on the call, right? Okay, so I'll be expecting your responses. All right, so we're going to the last. All right, thank you very much, Oluwato for me. Thank you very much. I can see you are following. Thank you very much. All right. So yeah, okay, thank you. I can see your answers. Thank you very much. All right, that shows that you were paying attention. All right. So the last stage I'll be talking about today is the implement stage. So this process at the end of the day boils down to implementation. So after you've tested your idea in the market, after you've tested your idea with your user, it's now time for you to bring your solution to life. You bring your solution to life and to the market as a full solution, as a full product. This involves you have to build, for you to place your products in the market so that users can buy it and users can interact with it. You have to, it's a whole lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. So you have to build partnerships with, companies or organizations or marketing firms that will help you push this product out there. Probably you have to partner with social media influencers to help you create brand awareness about your product. So you have to go. There are lots of things to put in place when it comes to implementing, because you and your family alone cannot use your product or cannot use your solution. It does not help anybody. So you want a whole lot of people, like you need large audience base, you need large user base to use your product, and you need to ensure that everyone wants to and you need to ensure that it meets at the right place, at the right time, the right tools. So that's the implementation. The implementation, you have to do market, you have to do a lot of marketing strategies to ensure that your brand, your product is you increase your brand awareness, you increase your customer base, and you also how will I call it, increase product demand. It's not only enough that people know about your product, they have to demand for your product. So that's what the implementation stage is about. And at this stage you are still refining your product, you are still refining your business model, you are still refining it. You keep refining the business model, you keep refining your product, you know and you keep going back and forth, feedbacks here and there. You keep modifying, you keep refining, and adjusting the idea to ensure that it actually does what it's supposed to do, to ensure that your users are getting the maximum benefit they are supposed to get from the product, to ensure that this product is meeting that specific need you have identified in the first design thinking process. Feedback is at the center of your work because you need to keep reviewing your solution. Is it still working? Are there some functions not performing well? Are they enjoying the experience? You have to keep getting feedback. You have to keep getting feedback. You have to keep refining the idea, the product I've said. Okay, so that is the last process I'll be talking about today. Then one last thing I also talk about is viability. Viability. Your solution is viable. it should be able to operate successfully. The solution should be viable and like commercially viable. Like it should be able to operate successfully as a business that is profitable and that generates job opportunities. So you have to look at your whatever it is you are building, whatever solution you're ideating on. You have to have a defined revenue sources. How do you generate income from this solution? What revenue strategies are you engaging with? Sometimes you might not get funding, sometimes you might not get, you cannot predict if you get all the money or the grant or the everything. So how do you generate money from this solution? When your consumers or when your users make use of your solution, how do you in turn get revenue from it? You have to think about it. That's what I mean by viability. So your idea must be commercially viable. You have to define your revenue sources and have a clear understanding of the value you are providing to your customers. So you have to balance all these requirements within your solution, and this will help you to create a much more successful and sustainable solution. So I think I've covered the point I really want to speak about, and I'll reiterate again that design thinking process is a user-centric process. It focuses on your user. It is user-centered. It revolves around your user. Who is that person that needs your solution? What does that person what is the person going through? What is the pain point of that person? What problems is that person facing? Solve that solution. Everything involves your user, customers, your user. They are the main, they are the center of design thinking. You do not want to produce something for mods, and at the end of the day, they won't eventually use it. You do not want to produce a solution for people that have disability, and then at the end of the day, it's not even doesn't work for them. Doesn't work for them. They don't use it. They don't appreciate it. That's because you've not done your homework. You've not done the design thinking process. You've not done empathy. You've not spoken with them to understand what they're going through, what they actually need. That is the whole essence of design thinking process, and it's important. This process is used any talk about any how will I call it, company, any big company today. Talk about Facebook, talk about Twitter, talk about any, just mention it. It is popular. It is a popular design process, and it is very important for you at stage. The earlier you know that for you, the better the advantage for you, because it gives you an edge by the time you now start, going into your own or like call it probably business or innovative challenge you are involved in. All right. So at this point, I don't know if you have any questions. Do we have any questions? I will make sure to send the slides. I'll make sure to send the video I promised. So do we have any questions? Do we have any comments, suggestions, anything that you would like to clarify before we end this session? It was meant to be practical. I was meant to actually pair the students together, and at the end of this session, you're going to come up with with a presentation. But that is still possible because we still have more classes, so it's still possible. So this will just give you the foundation. Then probably subsequently we'll be picking this, we'll be working probably in the next class or something to be a more practical class where people will be divided into different groups. Then you work on your empathy, you work on your framing, ideation, you prototype. Yes, you can prototype on your paper. You can use your paper to build something, a model of how your solution works, and we present it to us, because the scientific process is a very, very action-based process. So any comments, any questions at this point? And please prepare to do this. You will not escape it. It's something you have to do, because that's the goal of this session. That's the goal of the training. It's not just theoretical. We are also very we lay emphasis on practical, because the word, you have to practicalize what you are taught. We don't want theoretical knowledge. So now knowledge, please look forward to the practical aspect, and it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very exciting. Session, because we're going to be building ideas that will change Nigeria, that will change the whole world. Okay, so I think I'm done. I don't know if Mr. Sorry, still on the call.
I'm on and
Mr. Sorry, I don't know if you have any
I'm,
other thing to add, or
I'm on and I
any
want to,
information or
yeah,
announcement.
can you hear me? Yes, I'm here. I want to appreciate you, Vivian, for this class, for this session. I want to appreciate you for this session. Thank you very much for coming around. Thank you for coming around to do this for us. We appreciate you, and want to thank everyone that joined today's section. And you can also tell your friends to also return to the YouTube channel to watch this video over and over again. And if you're joining this session, please remember to also share it. You can share these videos with your friend. Just click on the share button and share it across the social media platform, your WhatsApp, so that your friends who are not here can also benefit from this class. Remember, in our next class, we'll be going deeper into activities-based design-thinking process so that you can learn it in a hands-on way. Thank you once again for joining, and Sister Vivian, once again, thank you, and thank you for doing this again and again. Thank you for being part of us. We appreciate you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.